Yeah, I mean, all right, one of us had to make the decision. I did. I hit the live button, and here we go. Welcome to the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast, where we venture our petty and ill-informed opinions onto the world. And joining me, as always, Nikki
Hey.
and Kevin.
And in a world of sad podcasts, you have sunk to find this one. Hello, everyone.
Well, that was an emotional roller coaster. You went really depressed, and then you brought it up with the hello.
Well,
Yeah, really.
I think it's. I mean, I've come to the conclusion that now basically everybody has their own podcast. I'm surprised we don't individually have three podcasts and then come together for one podcast on or four podcasts if you want just depending on how you want to do it. So I'm proud of the fact that us four individuals have come together to only make one podcast. And I like there's bits of jams in it. There's jams every time. I
Yeah.
tell you. How are you, Nikki? Quiet.
Um, I am on a fluffy cloud of muscle relaxers and Lortab.
Oh, there you go. I thought something was a wee bit off. She's just not even caring at this point.
I'm so chill right now.
Yeah.
I'm the
She's not
most
chill.
chillest.
She's high off her tits. Listen.
Yup.
Yeah, but
But
the
I'm
way,
here.
the way that
Right.
I look at it is that, the sad part about it is that yeah, I would say, is that not how we're supposed to feel on a regular basis without any sort of natural sort of or chemical um in intubation. Let's put it that way. Should we not be going through life having that feeling without having to take anything to feel it? I think we should.
Well, right.
In a perfect world, Kevin, yeah, we would.
Yeah, in a perfect world we could, and then in a non-perfect world, you miss 3 days out of 4 days of work, and life sucks, and you have to take something to get through it.
No, I mean, I hear you, but I mean, it just seems to me like a lot of. All I'm saying is what I'm saying is the reason that we're miserable in life usually has to do with some other prick
Yeah.
or group of pricks. And hopefully, we can vote in our new group of pricks next Tuesday,
Yay.
or
We're
or
all the
keep
same. We're
keep
all
this.
the same.
No, no, they're not all the same. That's the thing. No, I'm not saying there's not vastly different levels of prickedness. I mean, there's small pricks and then there's massive pricks, as we can see from
But
the.
they're all pricks.
Well, they all are pricks, but I'm just saying, I would rather have, from my standpoint anyway, a smaller prick than a more massive prick.
What if I'm a size queen and I like big pricks?
Well, and that's fine.
Are you
I'm
prick shaming me?
I'm a no. I didn't understand for a long time. I mean, listen. I came to the. I
I'm
did
totally not a size queen.
no. All I'm saying is I
I
did not
prefer
know.
small to average
I did
pricks.
not know that a woman's vagina grows and shrinks to accommodate the size of a penis. Apparently,
Uh, what?
I that's what I heard.
Have you been listening to incels who believe that somehow we have memory foam vaginas?
Is that not true? Does that? I mean, does it not
Are you
slacken?
fucking kidding
Does
me? It
that
is
not
not
slacken or tighten?
true.
I did. Well,
Absolutely not. No,
no. That's
okay.
why I'm asking.
Yeah, no, okay. So first of all, our vaginas aren't made out of memory foam. So if I have sex with you, my vagina is not gonna form to meet your penis. It does not do that. Um, and it bounces back. I mean, we have children and then we tighten back up. Did I just lose everybody because the static
No,
went
no,
away?
no. That's
Okay, that
just
was
Richard.
Richard just
He just
muting
put
or
on
whatever.
earrings, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he can't believe I'm asking a question.
No, it's cool. It's cool. So no, since you don't know, seriously, one day I'm gonna do a sex ed show
Well, I mean,
because
here's the
this
thing.
is stuff that men don't know. So they
No,
really
it's
there's this big thing going around saying that basically the reason why a woman will remain nice and tight if she only has sex with one man is because somehow her vagina is made out of memory foam, and if you get too many different types of penises in there, it'll
Oh no, I wasn't saying
somehow
it
explode.
like
I
that.
don't know.
It's
Yeah,
not like
no,
a
it doesn't. So
no. I wasn't.
basically, if
Yeah,
you have a short canal,
yeah.
um, like if you have a not so long vagina, you have a not so long vagina. So that's why some women are like a guy that's 4 to 6 inches, perfect, mwah, chef's kiss, because it doesn't hurt. And then you have other women who are like, yeah, 10 inches is fine. They've probably got a longer vagina.
Yeah. Well, all I was saying here, listen, I wasn't trying to say it
I
was.
I know there's
Yeah.
a big incel thing right now, basically saying that women their vaginas form to the man that they're with, and that's absolutely wrong. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't saying that.
misnomer.
It's not a
I
custom
don't know
made.
where they got that.
It's
I
not a
really
custom made
don't. Yeah,
vagina.
it's not. It's not. We're not gonna. I mean, the only thing that a man's really gonna change slash throw off is our pH balance.
Right.
And
Oh,
I
I
can't
well,
tell you how many women I've talked to and they went on a date or were going and dating some guy and they're like, nah, I'm not gonna, he's not worth throwing off my pH balance.
oh,
Like
well, I,
seriously, like
yeah,
he's not worth the infection or UTI that's about to happen up in
right.
my system.
Up in there,
Yeah.
up in here.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I
it's
was just thinking is, like if you take, I all I know is, obviously there's parts of your body, if you relax it, things feel better going through than if it's too tight. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
yeah.
that's what
And
I was
it's all
trying to get
different
at.
for women, but yeah, it's basically it pops right back. I mean, we can have babies and then it's pretty much that whole extra stitch thing, the husband stitch or whatever, is bullcrap. Our muscles are gonna just go back to the way they were. And we
Yeah,
can tighten them by doing exercises, pelvic exercises. Other than that, nah.
yeah. Okay. Well, I think that actually painted me as more stupid.
No, 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 no,
But
no, no, no.
but
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I reacted that way. It's just so I've seen it a lot lately. It's like a big thing in the incel community, and it's not that I think you're stupid. I was
but
honestly
you just
just
think that I'm a member of the.
no, 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 no.
No, I see how it goes.
I was honestly just so shocked to hear that it had went to like regular mainstream men now. You know what
Well, of
I'm
course,
saying?
everything. I mean, listen. I mean,
I
listen.
didn't know that it had reached that far yet,
All,
so it
all,
surprised
all,
me. That's all.
all I'm saying is, oh, well, of course. I mean, like I'm saying, we're living in a divergent fantasy land
Hmm.
where apparently, I mean, like I said, I can't. You know, the thing the thing that has to be said is that even if you're trying to stay away from you can't stay away from politics because the very fact of the biggest fantasies that we share as people anymore involve politics, and that is I don't think that's ever been true before. You know what I mean? It's not like uh, like these ideas of well, no, I mean, well, in America, I'd say that's true, but I
Uh-huh.
mean, other places, I would say is you have these fantasies of what these people are going to do and what they're
Yeah.
going to do for us and how that's going to make a difference and how you uh, you know become a better. Uh, I mean, it just seems to me like in a lot of ways, the types of things that people complain about whenever they say there's something
Hmm.
is exactly the opposite of the way they should be thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like let's say, for example, if you're complaining about the price of something, then you are not a capitalist because that is capitalism in a nutshell, right? So the higher the fluctuations of these different types of things, that's the market trying to adjust to it. So you can't complain about the fact that the price of shit's too high if you are supposedly a capitalist because
Right.
of the fact that that's the way shit goes. If you want somebody to regulate your prices that's in government, you are a socialist. So basically, they have the Republicans in America are accusing the Democrats of being too capitalistic and not socialistic enough. Welcome to
Makes
America.
sense to me.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
doesn't make any sense at all. And
That
the
was
very
a
and,
trip.
well, what else are you going to say about it? You know, I mean, but and then to be honest with you, then that's the way that should be. And nobody likes the idea that you're going to take away Social Security.
Yeah, my point is the misinformation out there.
Yeah,
Poof. Like my mom told me today, she was like, you know that they're getting rid of diesel fuel and they're just gonna stop selling it and blah blah blah. And I
yeah,
was like, that sounds like some kind of lie that someone heard off of Fox News or something.
right. Yeah,
And I was like, just to scare people. And she's like,
right,
no, a trucker told the person at the butcher shop. And I said, sounds like some Bolshevik. Basically, what
yeah,
happened was, there might, quote unquote, be a fuel shortage, which
right,
it's never been as bad for us as it has been other countries ever.
right,
And so there might be a diesel shortage, but that doesn't mean that they're getting rid of diesel forever because we don't need it.
right.
Like, okay, then.
Okay, and there's no written plan to get rid of diesel, but there is 5 written plans on the Republican Party to get rid of Social Security and Medicare. So, what would your mom rather live without? Social
Right.
Security and Medicare, or diesel?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we need diesel in order to have any supplies that might help her for Social Security and Medicare.
Right. But
If
I'm
she
saying that,
needs a surgery, if she needs to go to the doctor who's delivering all the stuff, the guys with the diesel. So at the end of the day, I guess we need diesel.
right.
I don't see any other way of shipping that shit here. You know,
Well, diesel is just a higher. I mean,
I get that. I get that. But all the
okay, well, I'm just saying,
semis.
how about everybody just fucking wind their necks in and realize that the best thing to do is to look after people.
Well,
Otherwise,
I don't. Exactly. I understand that. Like both is stupid and shitty. But you gave me a choice, and if
yes, I
that
did.
has to be the choice, I am neither Republican nor Democrat. I hate both. I hate all parties. Honestly, I hate politicians in general. So that is just a non-biased opinion. We need food. We need to keep the production up of shipping things back and forth. Like what's going to happen to middle states if you get rid of diesel fuel completely, and now you no longer have semis shipping to Walmart, Amazon, all of that stuff.
I forget because I live right where you could bring a boat in.
Right. And that's different. Like it wouldn't affect you much at all, but you get anybody.
So just deal with it.
Yeah, just deal with it.
That's not my problem.
Exactly. And now you're talking like a Republican.
Now yeah, exactly.
that's the mentality in a nutshell.
I was listening to this lady yesterday on Coast to Coast with Art Bell because my power went out for like I guess like 13 hours or something. So I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about Memphis, and like this lady was going all over how kind of Graceland was the place you wanted to go to, and I was just thinking what then she said it smelled like an old house, and it's kind of like an old little crappy little house. But then she said that there was like a huge like museum like behind it or something. Is that true?
At which house? The
Graceland.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't know about that. So I know that Graceland has a crap ton of warehouses somewhere, I think, on the property, and they switch everything out every 6 months. So you can go to Graceland like twice a year and not see the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And so
I don't know I've never been to Graceland. The only thing I know about Graceland because I used to work at the place that did the security for them, like their alarm system and all that stuff. So like my husband changed out their fire alarms, and I was like, did you keep them? And he was like, no. Who wants a smoke detector that's been used? It's like 12 years old. I'm like, it came from Graceland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was Elvis's smoke detector, my dude. It's been in there for 10 years. It
Yeah,
lives
well,
in Graceland.
yeah. And
So
I,
I'm sure someone would get in trouble for that. You know, they
and
would
I,
know
I
where it came from.
well, what I was amazed at this lady is postulates that basically that his mom and he shared a lot of the same sort of medical disorders, and that he was bound and determined to die young because of several genetic sort of
I
issues
feel that. I understand that completely.
and that his grandparents were first cousins, and that and I'm sitting there in my bed last night shitting a brick because my grandparents were first cousins too, and I had a major heart attack by the time I was 50. So maybe that is all true. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe one day I won't be here, and you guys will have to have them memorial toilet because I'll be taking a shit on the toilet and fucking just die
Aw.
like Elvis.
Yeah, just like, you know what? I understand that completely as someone with a lot of genetic issues.
Right.
Sometimes I'm like, man, because I sometimes, some days I'm like, am I going to make it another 15 years working, or am I going to be in a wheelchair by then? Like,
Yeah.
how am I going to do that? So sometimes I don't know. Maybe he had it right.
Well, I think this is the thing, and I think one of the things that they said about him was he couldn't quit because a lot of his family members had the same sort of genetic issues, and so therefore, if he would have quit, they would have gone way back into the poverty. That basically, you know, that he was the one thing that brought their family out of poverty, and if he would have stopped working, then he would have gone. The whole family would have just basically gone back into poverty. That would have been it. So,
Right.
yeah, he basically, in some ways, sacrificed himself to sort of bring his family into a higher standard of living, at least for a portion of time.
Right.
And I think
He
that
had a favourite sandwich at the end, didn't he? It was like a whole loaf of bread with peanut butter and jelly and bacon.
Yeah.
In it.
Well, I think that the thing about his gluttony, what she was saying, I don't know. I mean, you can obviously find it. It's like Elvis Destined to Die or something is the name of the book. But the way she was making it sound like is like Elvis at a certain point in time, although he had sort of big swelling in his hands and his belly and his face, that they were saying that was really sort of an over, like he was bloating the majority of it. And he didn't actually start gaining a ton of weight until the last 6 months before he died, which was an indication of that. And they said that basically, and I don't know there's a genetic disposition where if you're on the toilet and if you've had chronic constipation your whole life, which apparently he had, that this bearing down on your waist to try to force through a bowel movement can cause a lot of people to have a heart attack.
Yeah, I've heard that, and you can turn your prostate inside out and stuff. So I never ever bear down on the toilet.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, I mean, my Uncle Hugh, great Uncle Hugh, that's how he died in Scotland, and that's so I know it's true because when I was young and that happened to him. So anyway, it was interesting. It was an interesting listen to. Anyway, so what else is going on, guys?
So what else is going on? I'm apparently a murderer. That's what's going on. This is not something I want to make fun of because it's a horrible story about two young girls that were brutally murdered and other stuff was done to them in Indiana, in Delphi, Indiana. But the person they've arrested has the exact same name as me, spelled exactly the same. And I was like, I saw my name in the news, and I was like, oh, what have I done now? And then I was like, oh no, not the Delphi case.
Including the middle name?
No, not the middle name. But usually, I've met other Richard Allens, and usually their last name is Alan. This dude's double L E-N, which, I haven't met many people with that spelling.
Well, you notice that whenever you get a person of that's a mass murder or something like that, they always say their full name. Like if they said, okay, this serial killer's name is Kevin Ian Beagle, I've done some shitty stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like everybody goes around, I'm sure, saying, oh yeah, that's John Wayne Bobbitt, Bobbitt or whatever. Not John Wayne Bobbitt. He's the guy who got his dick cut off. But he was that a serial killer. The Klein guy. What was his name?
That was John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy. Yeah, okay. But he probably didn't introduce himself as anything other than John Case, I would imagine.
Yeah. I went to school with someone called Henry Holmes, and I was like, it's not so funny now, though. That's H. Holmes. For those.
Right.
Yeah, I understood what you were saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying that,
At least it wasn't John Holmes. And you had to stand next to that in the shower.
But yeah, that's awful, and I'm glad they arrested someone, but now my name's all over the news, and I'm just like, oh, this is freaky. I don't like this at all. It was funny at first. Gabby's been making fun of me all week because of it, but it was a tragic story, and one of the girls was very smart. She managed to capture the killer's voice on Snapchat, so we had to link that.
So he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill you, and in it, I'm from England.
That was possibly
No, I was trying.
Nicky's accent is worse.
I was trying to do as bad as I could get on that one. I was trying to do that one as bad as it could get. Because I didn't want to sound just like you.
Obviously. But that's pretty terrible. But I'm glad they caught someone, because that was the Delphi murders. It's not a pleasant case. It's been unsolved for a long time.
And you got away.
But right enough. I mean, the idea of people going crazy in Indiana is not that hard for me to imagine.
Yeah, she took pictures of him as well. You're right, Gabby. She was very smart. She must have known she was in danger. Good call. Ultimately, though, she lost a life, and that's tragic. Very tragic.
I think, but there is something to say. I mean, that enters into the big idea of cosmic justice and everything like that, and whether you, if you pass through this life, can remember what happened in this life, or whether you just become some sort of form of other energy and never come back into the world that we're in now. But what I find is that what's interesting is that that because of at least the intelligence of the woman and how brave she was, that somebody got what was coming to them. You know what I mean? We all like to believe that sooner or later you're going to get what's coming to you, but I would rather that actually happens on Earth rather than in some spiritual sense. I mean, I would like it to happen on a spiritual sense as well. But if you can be miserable here, I mean, like, why should I be miserable here and that person not be miserable here? That's the way I look at it. Welcome.
Yeah, girls, Gabby, they were 12 and 13. It's not a pleasant case.
No, that sounds terrible, mate. I mean, the more I'm finding out about it, the more I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it was horrible, and it's the last thing I wanted my name associated with. So, yeah, I'm famous though. So, you gotta laugh.
Well, you were famous before. Because
yeah.
You were like the all-time, like Bigfoot troller.
Back in the day, yeah, like 7 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You could just do that again. It's not like it's become like.
I don't think I've got the energy. And you know what? pulled the wind out of my sails. With Matthew Johnson getting on stage, telling everybody, despite being a fervent Trump supporter and anti-immigration, that he had imported 28,000 illegal, undocumented migrants to the United States of America with a car battery and a truck.
Yes.
And people believed him. And I was like, what can I do?
Yeah,
There's
but
nothing I can do. I'm pissing in the wind right now.
That is the whole do what I say, not as I do type thing. You know what I mean? All these people are like that, though. It's like, yeah, well, you shouldn't do this. This would be a terrible thing if you did. I mean, you know, like I'm sure at one point in time, Melania shouldn't be working in America. You know, like the whole idea of her coming here she was here probably on a tourist visa, and she was working in New York and blah, blah, blah. And she probably beat all the immigration laws and everything like that. And then she becomes a citizen, and then all of a sudden her family becomes a citizen, even though that, you know, and most people don't know this, that back in wherever she's from, Slovakia, Slovenia, whatever, some place in Yugoslavia, you know, her dad was this, you know, high up communist freaking, you know, member of the party, you know, so we're giving him citizenship and everything else. She's probably well, I'm not going to say it. She might be Red Sparrow or whatever that movie was about. But now nobody would believe that. You know, the funny thing is, even though her father was you know, like this high up member of the Communist Party in Yugoslavia, and so she was taken to special schools and everything, nobody can believe that she would be a Soviet spy. But they can believe that the Queen is a reptile and that she was controlling the world for the last 2,000 millennia for the devil.
Obviously. I mean, that's
just... Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
People will like and run around the world before the truth has got its boots on, or however that expression goes.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I'm just saying. And I mean, and I mean, I don't mind that people, you know, they don't necessarily want to talk about the, you know, security of elections and stuff like that. But, you know, the very fact that, you know, the idea that Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Jewish space laser lady that said that's what was causing the California wildfires, is set to become one of the major power brokers in the Republican House next year, is lovely to me. Love.
You're just a huge fan of that, aren't you?
I can't wait. I can't wait for the Jewish space laser lady to be in power and make decisions about my life, as we all would think that should be.
Yeah, it's a depressing state of affairs, isn't it?
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is hey, you know, we just don't need to get the crazy people. That's all.
Congress with the bill to make DST permanent. What's that?
Daylight savings time.
Oh, are you still on this, Gabby? Why are you obsessed with daylight savings time this week?
Because she's a reptilian and she
dumb as hell. I hate it.
Because she's a reptilian, and that way she can be out and outside more. Because that's obviously what we need. We need to increase the amount of daylight so that reptilians can be outside.
Look, I don't like it in the spring, but in the autumn you get an extra hour in bed, all right? So, what's the problem? This is the good DST, Gary. This is the one where you get to spend an extra hour in bed.
Circadian rhythms, that's why. It supposedly throws you off. I mean, for some reason, I don't understand it because...
It messed me up this year. I'm not going to lie. I went to bed at 7 p.m. The day it happened. It really messed up my internal clock this year. I don't even know how. But yeah, I went to bed real early.
But I mean, Nikki, you're the type of person who works like really super long hours. I used to work really super long hours, weird hours, and everything like that. I don't understand it whenever people say that it can script. If it screws up your circadian rhythm, all I can say is I have not had a normal circadian, and I'm sure I haven't. since the time I was like 15.
Yeah, me neither. I don't. Yeah, no. I don't know. It doesn't do much of a difference for me. I'm gonna wake up exhausted anyway.
Right. That's my point in a nutshell. Whether I wake up exhausted an hour earlier or not is irrelevant.
Absolutely. That's how I feel too. Because my thing is whether I sleep 4 hours or 14 hours, I'm gonna wake up feeling the same.
Yeah, shitty.
Yeah. So
As a
why
matter
not
of
just
fact,
sleep 4 hours?
if you sleep for 14 hours, you might actually wake up in more
Feeling
pain.
worse. Oh
In
yeah,
more pain because
absolutely.
the blood has pooled in certain parts of your body, and so
Yep.
therefore moving it around actually fucking hurts worse.
Oh yeah, they were asking me when I was at the doctor. They're like, "Is it better to sit or stand?" I'm like, "I can't do either for very long." Like,
Right.
There are
Yeah.
parts of England, Gabby, that actually don't do daylight savings time. There are
wouldn't that
villages
be a
that,
beautiful thing? I think it should just be abolished.
no, there are seriously villages and stuff that refuse to do it.
Yeah.
Those are the same villages that still say, "Hey up, Grummet."
Those are the same villages that still think marrying your sister's okay as well. Just putting
Oh
that
well,
out.
you know.
Farming
just
community
said-
mostly.
Gabby just said that she goes to bed at 8 p.m., which means you and Gabby should get together, Richard. She is also 80 years old.
What? Oh, yeah,
Saying.
it's funny. I would get together with Gabby, but A, I'm monogamous and she isn't, and B, she's far too skinny. Sorry, Gabby. You know I love you, but no.
But if you put on some dark foundation and got some huge tits put in, and
It's
She
not-
would still be
not.
too skinny.
no,
Yeah,
but
it's not the boobs, it's the skinniness.
yeah,
She's
I
like a
understand
Drake.
that. But I'm just saying. And then got a big Indian wig and put it on, and she said, "My name's Minda." Then
No, that wouldn't work, and how dare you insult Suki? How dare you? But no, the main problem really isn't about what she looks like, it's the fact that I'm monogamous and she isn't. And
You're a
that's,
what?
monogamous,
Oh.
and she isn't. And she is the opposite of monogamous.
right,
She is polyamorous.
Good for
polyamorous.
her.
Yeah, I'm made up for her, She's figured out what makes her happy, and she's going to get as much of it as she can. Fair play to you, Gabby. We salute you.
We all need.
Moving
love.
on to the topic, anyway. Last week,
Go ahead.
What?
I don't know what
Kevin.
the topic is.
oh God, come on. Anyway, last week, me and Kevin were talking about survival shelters, and I said I was thinking about doing it, and Kevin suggested that I did it. So I thought this week I would update you on the construction of my outdoor survival shelter.
Oh, right.
I love
sort of.
that Kevin encouraged you to do it.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
You told me it was a terrible idea and I should stop.
You fucking liar. I said if I were there, I would help you.
Listen,
She didn't say that.
this
Okay.
is
She was-
Why do you always gaslight me on the show? Every damn week you gaslight me on the show.
She specifically said it was a stupid idea. I should stay inside where it was warm and watch TV.
Why are you like
if your boy mate can say, "Listen, everybody knows that whenever you're a kid, and you have your mates, your boy mates, and you go out in the woods with them, and then you have that one girl mate that goes out and she's a tomboy and she goes out in the woods with you, which would be you, Nikki. We all know that. But there's some cachet in having your, penis, enabled friends saying that you should do something too.
Yeah.
That's all.
Anyway,
So he went out.
so Nikki said it was a bad idea. Kevin encouraged me. So I went
That's
outside.
exactly how it went. Fucker.
So I went outside and gave it a try. So first I dug a foundation. I'm on sand. So digging the foundation was actually pretty easily. I made a nice little rectangle, flattened surface in the ground. I used a hand pickaxe to take the layer of grass off the top, and then I sort of dug it out with a spade.
Boy, that is sandy soil. You're lucky there.
Yeah, it's full on sand, like it's legit sand. We're right on the coast, so I did that. And once I did that, I harvested some wood. I can just find a picture. I had it set up as a slideshow, but that didn't work apparently. So then
You're a loser.
see how mean she is. So then I harvested a bunch of wood. I've got sycamore and willow growing around me, so I use that.
Okay, that little saw you're using, the wee bow saw there.
Yeah,
How did that work out for you? Were you happy?
that was the best saw in the end. I had 3 saws and a big one for doing huge bits of wood. That one wasn't very good. I had a little call it. It's got a special name. It's one of those ones that folds out, and
Right.
that wasn't very good. But that D saw, that worked really well. So I went with that.
And does that break down as well into the puts a little you put a wee pouch or something? Because I have something like that that's made by Gerber, and it's a little D saw like that, and it actually breaks down. It comes apart, breaks down, and it goes into a little case that you can take with you for your everyday carry kit or whatever, your 3-day kit or whatever.
It clips onto the backpack I've got.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So the backpack goes on and then it clips onto the frame. So so I harvested a bunch of wood and I got to work building the frame for the shelter, which, none of this was as easy as the YouTube videos I have been watching had led me to believe. I just want that noted.
And you're not
You're
even
thinking
done
of-
with it.
Yeah, I'm not even done with it. So I built the frame, lots of string, lots of wood. That's really, I can jiggle that pretty hard and it doesn't move. And that's what I wanted. So I got that done. And then I put together the framework for the walls and the ceiling. And that's as far as I've got. And I've got rained off the last couple of days. So we had a horrible storm, like really high winds and really strong.
Is it still up?
Yeah, it's still up. I checked on it this morning, and it's still standing.
Because my dad was like, hope that there's no storm. That thing's going to go away. And I said, I don't think so. I think it's pretty sturdy.
Yeah, no. We had high winds and high rain, and I checked it this morning before I went rowing, and it's really, it's still there. So,
Beautiful.
Well, I think you did it the right way, because of the fact that most people would try to construct a full wall and then try to tip it up into space. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And whenever you do it like that, then because of the fact that you can't complete it all at one go, makes it very vulnerable. At this point in time, basically, you've got several different areas that you've got in situ. But if there's a wind that goes through that, that's not going to create an issue. You see, it's not going to the wind. So then, even if you were going to weave through that to build it up, then you wouldn't still have a problem. You would still be fine. I want to know why it looks like a cave, or some kind of a. At this point in time, it looks like a jail or something.
Yeah. Well, it's just a framework for the walls.
Yeah, you wouldn't be telling anybody to put the lotion on the skin anywhere near that, would you?
No,
he is Richard Allen.
First of all, the water table's way too high. We're right on the coast. If I dig any lower than that, I'm going to hit water. So,
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. So you have to make just like a cage on top of that. So you look. It does look a little ominous if you were going through there. Like I'm saying, it's you would maybe look like the rat catcher or something, or the rat killer. That's all I'm saying.
So the next stage will be to go lengthways now that I've gone vertically. I'm going to go horizontal and tie it all in and try to make, some decent walls. It's going to be a long process. I'm not done with it yet. I was hoping to be done with it, but only got a couple of hours a day with the daylight
Right.
savings.
But if you right now you could make a workable um, thing, shelter with that just by throwing a tarp over the
Just
top.
by throwing a tarp over it.
Yeah,
In fact, I did do that to make sure that it could take the weight, and if it rained, it would be fine. So yeah.
You're going to want to put a wee bit of a pitch on it though, because just of the fact that if you've got that's sitting flat with the amount of rain that you get there, that'll just bow that down and sort of collapse it. So you just you want to make sure. I mean, that's my advice anyway. My advice. You want to get a little bit of a peak on there somehow. But good job, mate.
So
It's better than anything I built. That's
definitely. Yeah. I felt good about trying it, and you were right. It was definitely fun to give it a try. And even if I can't, make it like completely weatherproof, at least I've given it my best shot.
Well, what I'm saying is it's not a question of that. As you go through, when you're watching things on YouTube, you find out obviously it takes a while for you to get it done, but then the natural progression of learning how to do these sort of pioneering projects or whatever will lead you to adapt it for your immediate situation. And so therefore every shelter that you make from this point on will be more and more sort of will be faster, and will be able to take all these different things into effect. If you think about it, most survival shelters, or a lot of them, Richard, don't even have all the sides. You know what I mean? A lot of them just use like a lean-to idea so that you could have like a fire trough in front of the thing and to keep you warm, the length of your body warm, if you're in a really cold scenario. So, you don't necessarily have to have in every situation, enclosed sides. You just want something to keep the rain off you, and something, to be able to warm yourself up with. So that's all.
Yeah. Well, it's going to have a fireplace. There's around the back, you can't see it there. I've made space to put in a fireplace.
Yeah.
And I'll be doing that next, as well as weaving the walls in. And I
Right.
figure if I manage to put the walls in so like there's gaps, I can use tree bark and other things to, fill in the gaps once it's weaved in.
Yep. That's it.
That's it. So hopefully next week we'll be able to take a look at the finished shelter. So that's what I've been up to.
It's awesome. I'm jelly. I wish I could do that. I don't have the land right now. I don't have the backyard. I used to.
Yeah.
Don't worry, everybody's seen your backyard. No.
What's that supposed to mean?
I was getting.
Kevin, did you expose my pictures I sent you?
Yes.
Damn
No.
it.
No, I wouldn't. I was being a juvenile. I was being juvenile.
I love he's like, no, I wouldn't, as if I ever sent him dirty pictures of my.
Oh, no, I'm just saying. I would. Listen, I have been sent pictures.
Not of me.
Not from you, but I have been sent pictures from certain people, and I have never exposed that because I think that that's completely wrong. I would never do it, and I wouldn't want anybody to expose any pictures of me because I think that would be very disappointing for a lot of people, especially the people.
Yeah.
Because we see that what's that?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep those.
I'm the type of
pictures to
person you don't
myself
have
as
to
well.
you don't have to be elastic for.
Yeah.
There's no spring back required. So, what else you got going on there, Richard?
That's it. That was my week. Pretty much, I've just been working on that. I was working, and went swimming in a real swimming pool for the first time in about 20 years today.
Oh yeah, where
I go,
at the
there's
bath?
there's a private pond, private pool and spa down the road that I found. And yeah, I mean, it's 20 quid. You can rent the entire pool for an hour. So did that. I miss swimming in the winter because I go swimming in the summer in the sea in a lake. But
20
it's the
quid,
first,
20 quid to rent the pool.
yeah, the
Wow.
entire pool and the hot tub.
And how big is that? The pool.
About half the size of a soccer field.
Seriously?
A big pool.
I mean, for 20 quid though, that's really good. I mean, so like if you were renting it for 20 quid and you wanted all your mates to come in, you could technically get away with doing it for 50p if you had, like 40 friends come down. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, you can have as many people as you want. It's just a flat rate.
Yeah, that seems really good. Like, I mean, I would.
Well, it
pay-
used to be a tenner, but they had to put the rates up because of the energy crisis.
I understand that, but that 20 quid it was seemingly a good deal for what you're getting. It seems to me. I mean,
Well, it's difficult to get a slot. I know that. I got today, but the next available slot is in 3 weeks. And it's
yeah,
like at 9 p.m. at night.
right.
And I'm like, I don't want to swim at 9 p.m.
Well,
Maybe
yeah.
it's summer, but
I mean, the thing about it, I used to love going swimming, but then I would always have to have a like a chip after, like a chippy. And if there's no chippies open anywhere
I got
close to it,
Chinese.
yeah, then that would be it. If there was an all night chip shop, which I think that there should be in any British town, I would do it. I wouldn't care when it was 1 o'clock in the morning. I would say, just let me do it. Let me have it and give me some cotton chips after. As a matter of fact, just wait till I get out, slather me with vinegar and salt, and give me a chip. That's it.
I don't like what's going on in the chat right now. Okay, Nikki, I'm going to ban you from the chat.
No.
What's going on? What's going on?
There's a lot of talk between Gabby and Nikki about what they're going to do to me if they get the chance, and it's not as sexy as you might think.
No.
Listen,
You.
I mentioned a ball gag, leather like restraints, and a cat of nine tails. And maybe I mentioned slapping him and calling him a bitch.
See, this is why people believe me when I say you didn't have any faith in me. I'm just saying. This
I have
attitude
great
right
faith that you're a bitch.
here.
And the old cat of nine tails, of course. I hope you're talking about the fetish version of that, not the actual ones that'll.
It depends on whether he's pissed me off.
Well, like I don't think. I think most people think, like whenever you're watching these movies and they're always like, okay, like they're tying you to like the forecastle of some boat or whatever, and giving you 100 lashes. That would kill you. There's no way you would make that with a cat of nine tails. Like
Right.
anything more than like maybe 5 or 6, you're on the going into shock and dying part, But yet they always seem to like want to show like that everybody's going through these multiple
Lashings, yeah.
lashings. It's I don't know. It's very, very unrealistic because Cat of Nine Tails, of course, had the leather strap that was split into different different groups, and then had like little bits of nail or metal.
Yeah, that's what I plan on using. I mean,
Yeah.
he keeps gaslighting me when I come on and
Yeah.
saying I said crap I didn't really say.
How am I gaslighting you? I'm just repeating what you said, and gaslighting doesn't exist. You made it up because you're crazy.
Yeah. Just wait. One day we're going to meet. You're going to have to deal with me face to face in a room.
Well, one thing you can say after the thing about it is the cost of gaslighting makes it cost prohibitive. You don't want to do it.
It's too counterintuitive these days.
I'm very upset about the cost of gaslighting. It's like 3
I
times
agree. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
it used to be.
The thing is,
Everybody
Nikki,
knows
I'm not
about it now.
worried about meeting you face to face. Because even if you want to kick my ass, we both know you're so lazy you will procrastinate kicking my ass.
That's true. I'll be like, I can do that tomorrow.
I could do that later.
I'll
Oh,
just do it
totally.
later. Whatever. I'm just chilling.
Nikki seems to be like she would probably fight like a cat. You know what I mean? She would be super mellow, and then you'd be like, oh well, yeah, no, I'll go over to her and pat her, and then she'd take a swipe at you.
That's
She-
100%
she
who
would-
I
That
am.
is definitely Nikki.
She
Absolutely
would wait
who I am.
until you were close enough, and then she would know, and then she would like that would be it. It'd
Yep.
be over. Yeah, that's how I see it.
That's really how it is. It's when you're not expecting it. Like you put okay, so story time.
Here we go.
I have waited 6 to 8 months to get my revenge before. And it was always there lingering. And then I forgot about it for a while. And then I remembered it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I never got them back for this. And then I got them back. So I am 100% that person. You're going to say something to me, and 2 hours later, you're going to be like, aw, she's being so sweet. Snuggle, snuggle. And then I will literally bite your nipple.
That's fun.
You're gonna be like, what was that for? And I'll be like, remember that time
6 months ago.
when
Yeah.
you pissed me off?
Well, that
Straight
does
nipple
seem
boy.
very sort of over the top for coworkers, though.
Yeah.
Remember that
I-
time in the emergency room you said this? There, I'm biting your nipple off.
It's even
Listen.
worse when you realise most of the co-workers are women.
Yeah, there's so much grab assing at my work. It's a lot of like sexual harassment. It is nothing for me to like walk outside taking the trash and like slap 3 different women's asses on my way out and just go, good game, good game, good game to each of them on the way, because it's not gay or sexual harassment if you say good game.
That's true.
Right? So that's what I say. I say good game.
Yes, in the in the context of some kind of thing.
Right?
Oh,
Of
look, there's the
course.
cat there.
Good game.
Look who finally decided to join us.
Oh, it's Tom.
Whoa. Got the time differential. I'm an hour late, aren't I?
You are indeed.
Yeah. Next week you're going to be an hour late because you're going to think it's gone the other way.
Oh shit. I can't believe I did think you'd message the link quite early. Oh god. Oh, you should have nudged me, guys. I'd have been here. I'd have been here if you'd have nudged me, guys.
It's all good. I just thought you were off busy doing your own thing. I didn't even
No.
think to be like, hey, Tom,
I
get
just
your ass.
I just
Yeah, your
totally
camera
missed the
is
time.
on.
I know.
Oh, it's fine.
I-
Your camera is allowed to be on. You're a decent looking bloke. There's
Oh, I saw. Hang on, we're live already. 50
Yeah.
minutes, and then I joined the fucking dots. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake! Whoops.
It's all good.
Back to
Oh.
normal next week. Everyone's time will be the same next week.
Right.
10
Nick,
o'clock.
We'll be
our time.
back. Yeah, we'll be back on the regular scheduled programming next week.
So
when
show-
the
just-
Americans.
Yeah,
One of you
just-
should have DM'd me. One of you should have messaged me and said, "Tom, you do know it's an hour earlier
Aw, sorry, love. I didn't know until we were
I did. I
already
DM'd you the
chill.
link to the show.
this week." As you
and that is all I get too, Tom. Just so you know, it's not like Richard and I secretly talk off. I mean, like Richard and I don't talk at all, other than on the show. I think, and so he just
Well,
said,
we have the odd conversation.
no,
which
I
will be-
mean, yeah, if I call up and say, yeah, sorry, mate, I can't be on it or whatever, or, you know, like my loins were really, really, sore for you this week. I mean, you know, if
That's
it's
what I message him with. How do
Yeah.
you know?
right, I mean, you
I'm
know,
like, my loins are frothing.
yeah, they ache for you. If, I might throw that in, but that's usually only once every 3 or 4 months.
Man,
I-
Tom, that pussy. Stroke it.
I
Yeah,
am.
you just
I am.
keep on stroking that pussy.
It's in the tail at the moment. Oh well. Anyway, never mind. Carry on, guys. Where were you?
well, no, it's over now, isn't it?
Yeah, I was
Yeah, we're
talking
wrapping
about
up.
Yeah,
I was talking about biting off Richard's nipple. That's what I was
right.
talking
Yeah,
about.
That's what we're
actually, she
talking.
wasn't. She was talking about slapping some asses at her
At work, I do.
and you know, you have some not bad looking if you don't mind me saying,
Coworkers,
co-workers.
they're all freaking beautiful, are they not? Like, it's stupid how beautiful the women I work
Yeah.
with are.
So
Like my best friend Courtney that I work with, oh, she's just freaking, it's gorgeous. Some of the girls should be models. It's dumb. I hate them, but I love them at the same time.
right. So I mean, you know, there's nothing like you know, like a southern good-looking gal with an accent.
Oh, and Courtney's got the accent. I make
Who
fun
would
of her
want?
accent
Who
on the
would
daily.
want that? Who would want that? As they say.
Right.
Yeah.
Courtney's ass is second to none.
Yeah, she does have a magnificent rear end.
Uh huh.
She's
I have not seen it. I've just seen some. I've just seen you in a picture with some people who.
so she sent me a picture of her rear end that she ended up sending her guy friend, and I was telling her how gorgeous of a rear end she has. And I was telling Richard about it, and she's like, "You can send it to him." And I was like, "Cool." So I just sent him a picture of one of my coworkers' ass. It's It's glorious.
I would
It's a shrine. It is.
and
You
what
wouldn't know to look at her, but my gosh.
And what concept? And what context was the ass in? Was it like?
It was very sexy. It was
It
full
was
on out.
a racy picture. It was like
It was
this is my
raised
ass.
knee. Yeah, it was like raised knee. Set a timer on the freaking thing.
Right.
Ass. It
okay.
is.
So
It is
wasn't like I'm
ass.
bending over pulling weeds or something like that.
No, it was full on. I'm gonna send this to my man to make him fap on it.
Okay.
And
how much? How much? What was this? What was the amount of underwear? Was it thong? Was it
zero?
It was completely bare.
Oh, okay. So
It
you could see holes.
Oh yeah.
So pretty. She has a really glorious ass. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right.
I have nice tits. She has a great ass. I mean, everybody has their assets.
Yeah.
But if Courtney does send you a picture of her ass, Kevin, don't try telling Nikki, send me a picture of her tits so I can compare, because it doesn't work. I'm just going to tell you right now.
And I don't know. Listen, just so you know, I do not want any pictures. I as much as it would be, you know, if I was single, I'd say, hey, send it over. But you know, but then I think that would be it's not appropriate for me.
It's absolutely not.
No.
Sam would beat the hell out of you.
Well, yeah, but then she would
know. She would just know.
Well, she would know.
Yeah.
That's the thing I would say is she would just know. She would just come to me and she'd say, what are you hiding? And I'd be like, no. And then she would, like, you know,
I didn't do anything. You can't prevent anything.
She would do her divination sort of you know, like Native American sort of thing, and then that would be a divining spirit, and then she'd say, I feel an ass coming on.
I feel an ass.
Yeah. So that's good.
That's okay. I don't plan on sending anybody pictures of my tits.
No, you know, don't. Yeah, like no, that's somebody else's thing. But
I mean, you can check them out on my OnlyFans.
Kudos.
I'm just kidding.
Kudos to her for taking a nice sort of risque photo for her, you know, significant other.
It might surprise you, but women sometimes take those kind of photos for themselves and never show them to a single person.
Yeah. Oh no, Yeah,
when I was in college, I discovered that I wasn't the only one that did that. And me and a bunch of my girlfriends got together in our phone and started showing each other pictures. It just when, we were feeling sexy. So we decided to take half naked or naked pictures.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen boudoir photos that have not been meant for other people to see. That's I mean,
Yeah,
not,
it's just because you're
it
feeling good
wasn't
about
taken.
yourself.
It
Snap,
wasn't
snap.
taken for me. It wasn't taken for anybody. But I mean, it was just taken.
It was
you know,
just taken because she was
yeah, it's just
feeling good
taken.
at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Celebrate
Yeah.
yourself. Go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like men seem to think women wear makeup for them. When I wear makeup, I'm not thinking of any man. I think about how shit I'm feeling and how much
Yeah.
it's going to make me personally feel better.
Well, if people think that whenever I'm laying on my bed in
Right.
my cheetah thongs, surrounded by pistols and ammunition, that I'm taking that for women, and it's not. It's solely for me.
Yeah, solely for you. But
Solely
I'm
solely
very
for me.
interested in seeing these pictures. Merca.
Yeah, I might send them to you.
That's the most aggressively American thing I've ever heard.
Yes, that's
Just laying in my bed
but laid in
with
my
some
bed
animal
with
print,
yeah, with my 12 pistols and my
a
AK.
shit ton of ammo all over.
And the
Got my
shitty,
banana hammock.
and I know people he will think I'm wrong, but I probably have at least 12 pistols. Anyway, I love
You know what?
I love my guns.
Good for you.
I
Like,
do love
I
them.
don't have an issue with it. I like guns.
Yeah.
Pistols scare the hell out of me. I like a good rifle or shotgun. I'm way more comfortable with those.
Well, shotgun. I mean, like I said, if you're going to be protecting your house or you want to just basically create mayhem, shotgun's the way to go.
Well, I just feel more. I was raised around rifles and shotguns. Like, I shot my first 22 when I was 6. So, like, I was 5 or 6. I went out into the woods. I had a BB gun. It kind of kicked my ass. And so my dad was like, here, take this 22 and shoot that instead. And I did. So much easier than that BB gun. And that was my weapon of choice. Was a 22 rifle.
Well, the reason why they did. I mean, they did not issue shotguns to soldiers, in the First World War, because they thought it was going to be too deadly in the trenches. So whenever they actually got on top of each other in the trenches,
I believe that.
Yeah, that
Shotgun's not a good idea.
Up close and everything like that was going to create too much damage.
Yeah,
to other people, which is really smart. Another reason why they didn't issue the BAR, the Browning automatic rifle, during the First World War either. Anyway,
that's really cool knowledge. I don't know.
Well, yeah, they were afraid that somebody else would find it and then copy it. That was one of the things that was so. But the idea of having a large caliber sort of portable machine gun type thing scared the crap out of everybody. But by the time World War II came around, we were over at.
And we were like, big guns.
But the nice thing about that is that we didn't have trench warfare in World War II. So did it solve the problem, or was it?
I mean, how much longer do you really think we're going to have trench warfare?
Well, one of the biggest reasons for that was tanks. Once tanks are in play, then you're just talking about a totally different type of warfare. It's not about trenches and stalemates like that are impossible. It's about what towns you can take and hold, and things like that in much larger scale movement of resources.
Well, but depends on how. It depends on the amount of the planning that has to go with it. I mean, obviously, the Blitzkrieg idea was an American idea that then it decided to go away. So the Americans had come up with that, went away with that. The Germans used it because, in a lot of ways, they saw the thing in it. But British and French and the Americans, even by the time of World War II, were using tanks as infantry support weapons, not as weapons in their own right. But anyway.
Well, I think possibly historically one of the first times they were used as weapons in their own right, with brutal success, was the fall of France in 1940,
Yeah.
when they swept through the Ardennes. Relatively recent research has shown that these tank crews were absolutely off their tits on all kinds of drugs to keep them
Oh,
up all night.
absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Meth.
They
Perfect.
drove and they got their way to Calais so quickly and cut off the French and the the French army and the British Expeditionary Force, and trapped them in Holland before they knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was the mobility of the and the communication of the Wehrmacht was just absolutely unmatched in 1940, and it didn't end. That blitzkrieg wasn't stopped till Kursk in 1943, and then once it was stopped, then that was it. The German army was on the back foot until the fall of Berlin in 1945.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you've got the principal idea that Hitler stopped outside the town of Dunkirk and said, "Don't fire anymore on these folks until they, for a while." And people were saying, "Why did he do that?" Because Hitler. I mean, the idea that Hitler lost the war at that very moment when he decided he wasn't going to push into Dunkirk was because of the fact that a lot of people thought that the half of the royal family, at least some of them, were very pro-Nazi, and they thought that they would ally with the Germans themselves. I don't know if that's true. But
Britain was a possible ally. I don't know how truthful it is, but there's a fantastic film with Gary Oldman called Darkest Hour, which is set in exactly that era when the remains of the BAF are pinned down in Dunkirk. It's a fantastic film, and he's under a huge amount of pressure to excuse me, to this stuff, to serve sue for peace with Hitler, and and end the war there. But he basically surrender. But there's a great moment where Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill turns around to everyone around him and goes, "You can't negotiate with a tiger when your head is in its mouth," or something like that. It might have been a lion, I'm not sure. I think, by the way, Hitler was always eventually going to lose World War II unless he developed nuclear weapons first. And the reason I think that is because the moment he either that or the moment he joined Japan in declaring war on America, one of those two, because he was always, I mean, really it was when he declared war on Russia, but because
it was when he marched the armies into Russia during their winter, declaring war on his biggest ally. That's legitimately when he lost the war.
He did. But I think he lost it before that, because he was always going to do that. It's in Mein Kampf. It's a massive Lebensraum. It's a mass, and Aryan supremacy over the Slavs, as he called them, was an integral part of Nazi ideology. He was always going to invade Russia, and just like Napoleon, just totally underestimated the resolve and the strength and the size of of Russia itself. And so he was always going to invade Russia. So I think he was always going to lose eventually, especially when things like America declaring war on America following Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941. That was madness, and that was only ever going to end in the loss. Not snuffing out the British army when he had the chance was another massive early nail in the coffin. Yeah, but I think ultimately he was always going to declare war on Russia. Therefore, he was always going to lose the war that he was always going to start.
Well, I think that part of the thing about it is that I think it's not the strength of Russia and the resolve of Russia. It was the very fact that Russia, in my opinion, according to the people, I think Russia just saw that they just said, okay, well, we've got enough people. So we'll just continually throw people at it until we win. It's just a matter
wave after wave after wave.
Well, that is exactly. It's the whole sort of Chinese North Korea plan in the Korean War, which is we just going to keep on sending people till they run out of people on the Allied side.
That's so true.
Yeah.
In which city was that ideology more present than ever? Just trading lives for time.
Yeah.
Which city am I thinking of, guys?
Is it?
Which Russia?
No, it's not. Well, I mean, you can make the course of what, Petrograd or Stalingrad?
Stalingrad.
Yeah,
I was thinking Stalingrad.
Yeah.
Because, well, Leningrad was a siege that lasted a miserable amount of years. No, but Stalingrad, my God, I'm absolutely obsessed and fascinated with Stalingrad. In fact, I'd be more than happy to lead a podcast one time on Stalingrad itself and why. May I please? I've just thought of that. Sorry, I'd love to. At some point, I would love to do a whole thing on Stalingrad. It would
Yeah, we can do that next week if you want.
Yeah, next week, come on at 9:00. All right, man. Well, anyway, I gotta go. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Nikki's gonna go as well, so we're gonna wrap this up. Next week you can lead the podcast and talk about Stalingrad. Okay.
Right.
Okay. That'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It is good night from them, and it's good night from me.
Good night.
Good night.